Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Tour Confidential on Golf.com. I'm Jessica Marksbury, joined today in our Lower Manhattan studio by Golf.com's Jeff Ritter and Sean Zock. Jim Furyk will be Team USA's next Ryder Cup captain. And Jeff, my question is, did they make the right call? A lot of people are saying maybe Fred Couples would have been a better choice.
Maybe. I think they did make the right call this time. The U.S., what they pledged to do when they revamped their system of how they go about selecting captains and selecting Ryder Cup teams before Hazeltine was to build continuity. I think Furyk shows the commitment to this new format that worked for them in Hazeltine, which is grooming future captains as assistant captains and then plugging them in. It's what Europe's done for years. It's a big reason why Europe got to the point where they did, dominating that rivalry for a long time. So because the system worked in Hazeltine, I say you go forward with it now. Furyk's the right call.
Great points, certainly. But Sean, are we just going to ignore all of the success that we've had from Fred Couples in the President's Cup? I mean, the guy seems unstoppable.
Everyone at this table knows the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup are two different things. And not that Freddie hasn't had success, but to be a Ryder Cup captain is a much more highly criticized position. Jim Furyk's a pretty tactful guy. He's all business. You know, there's not a whole lot of jokes coming from Jim Furyk. And he also, when was the last time Jim Furyk overreacted to something? This is the kind of guy that you want leading your team, leading your squad, the guy that people respect. I think Jim Furyk knocks off all those checks.
You saw some emotion from Jim when he won the FedEx Cup. I'll never forget the backwards hat moment, that, moment of triumph in the rain, right?
He's certainly
the guy's
a fire.
got some passion.
He's got some fire. I mean, certainly as a competitor, he wants to win as much as anybody. I think they got it right. I look forward to seeing where it goes with Furyk. I do think, though, let's say the U.S. had lost in Hazeltine. And everything the task force built up towards and the whole system they were trying to put in place, if that had failed at Hazeltine, then I think you look at Fred Couples, or you try a different direction again. But because they won and won so emphatically at Hazeltine, this is the right move.
Well, that would be my next question, Sean. Obviously, everyone always says, hey, the guys just need to play better. Well, they certainly did play better in this last Ryder Cup. But what does Jim need to do to kind of nurture this process to make sure that, they will play better again?
Yeah, I think it's stick to the status quo. I mean, Davis Love brought in his quants, guys that'll help statistically, kind of just breed pairings, breed the kind of players that we need, the 12 best players in their eyes, statistically speaking. And I think he just sticks to Davis Love's plan, which will be easy for him because the first thing he did, in addition to joining Twitter, was name Davis Love as one of his vice captains. So with that being said, low expectations going over the pond. He's got DL3 in his back pocket. He'll have probably a quasi-captain in Phil. Tiger Woods, maybe. He's going to have an easier road than guys that have come before him going overseas. I think he'll probably follow it.
Certainly that kind of continuity won't hurt. Jeff and Sean, thank you so much for your time and insight. And thank you all for joining us on this edition of Tour Confidential on Golf.com. We'll look forward to more Ryder Cup talk over the next 2 years, and we'll see you right back here next week.